Kate, are you aware of what idols are in Japan?
I know what an idol is. I don't know not much about Japan.
Okay.
It's probably not the same thing you're thinking of in that case.
Well, in Japan, idols...
What's your definition of idol?
Go ahead.
Like, explain what you know it to be.
Something that someone looks up to and puts it, like...
So, in Japan, that's basically what they call their pop celebrities.
Okay.
They're called idols.
Yes.
And, there's kind of a idea that someone came up with like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, around that time.
It's kind of cool, actually. So I don't know how much you want me to explain or pass it back to you.
Well, no, I was just letting you cook. Basically, Hatsune Miku is an idol, but here's the thing: Hatsune Miku is a digital idol, meaning that she doesn't really exist. Now, people can cosplay as her, people can, do sing her songs and stuff like that. But the entity Hatsune Miku exists only in cyberspace. Meaning
There's
she
an
can be
entire
anywhere.
program that's been built to make her voice, though.
Yes.
And people can try to sing her songs, but a lot of her songs are probably out of most people's singing range because that program allows them to do songs with notes that are just like absurd in range.
Well, it makes it to where it can go super low and super high, basically.
And very fast.
Yes. And imagine someone with the singing capabilities of Mariah Carey, but with the speed of like Twista or Eminem, and the vocal and like the full vocal like depth of, say, someone like what's his name? He's Jeff Castellucci. Like, he's a bass singer on YouTube. Dude's like got huge range with his like bass, and basically you have the vocal range of Hatsune Miku, which is impossible.
The other thing is you can never probably hear every song by Hatsune Miku because fans have used the software to make more songs.
Yes.
And there's like a whole like side thing that I like called Hagane Miku, where people use the voice to make metal songs and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And there's just I couldn't even tell you like half of the canonical songs that are actually heard, but you can go see her in concert, and like if you went and saw her before now, it was actually pretty cool because they used the full hologram system where they projected her hologram on the like fog and stuff, and she looked three-dimensional on the stage. Apparently they're doing a show now that a lot of the fans are disappointed about because it's just going to be a screen. Everybody's like, why don't I just watch her on my screen at home, then that can save a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, ABBA does a digital like projection thing, for their heyday, like from like the 70s, they like project what they looked like back in the 70s, and it's like their greatest hits and stuff like that. And it's like ABBA Voyage, I believe is what it's called. All the shows are sold out from like their residency in London, and they're talking about setting up residency in Las Vegas at the Sphere, and I think that'd be really cool. But at the same time, it's just like, I would love to see Hatsune Miku make an appearance here in the States if she got popular enough here stateside. I mean, I think she is popular enough to where she could fill up the arena, no problem.
I was under the impression that she had shows here before. I don't know, though, for sure.
I can't remember, but Hatsune Miku is apparently an obsession of one Jaden Animation, so I guess we might as well check out and see what Jaden thinks of Hatsune Miku. I know what she thinks. She's in love with Hatsune Miku. I know Jaden's aromantic and asexual, but if Jaden could make herself digital, she would probably date Hatsune Miku.
You know, I would too.
Shut up, Nick. We all would. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, here we go.
Music is a huge part of our society. It brings people together, lets you express yourself in new and creative ways, can even help you get through tough times. Personally, for me, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I've honestly never been a big music person. I know, throw me into a volcano. I would just rather watch YouTube videos. I don't know. I like the constant flashing colors and pictures, I think. Like, I don't hate music. For the most part, I could honestly listen to anything, but that's kind of it, you know? Nothing stands out to me, and I don't go out of my way to listen to it. If anyone out there is like me, you understand the pain of when a conversation starts turning towards the topic of music. You know exactly what's coming, and you're helpless to stop it. There's nothing you can do. It's already in motion. The person you're talking to opens their mouth, and you wince as they say it. So what kind of music do you listen to? I don't
And
really
that was
listen to
literally me
music.
until middle school, so
Really?
I kind of get it. Yeah, I've told you this before.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd listen to other stuff, but I know that metal
I didn't
was like
listen
your-
to anything of my own accord until I hit middle school and found out about Blink-182. They were the first band I ever like went and bought an album from and listened to. Well, I did
Okay.
listen to some Weird Al because I thought it was funny. I forgot about that because my next door neighbor let me hear Weird Al, and I was like, that's funny, you know.
Well, how about you,
So like,
Kate?
the only CD I had before that was probably Bad Hair Day, and then I finally got a Blink-182 album, and then I started buying more Blink-182 albums.
Cool. What about you, Kate?
What about me? What?
In terms of like music, in terms of like, were you always like really into like your own selection of music from a young age, or did you develop it as you got older?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Like, not at all. Nah, maybe like some video game music every once in a while, but that's kind of it. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. And after that conversational stumbling, the person starts talking about the music they like, and you have to stand there and take it. Oh, that sounds cool. I should give it a listen. You're just lying through your teeth, not being convinced in the slightest, and will immediately forget every piece of information they tried to feed you. Even if I wanted to look it up later, my brain goes, get this out of here immediately. We've got to make room for the 4-hour-long video essay about Freddy Fazbear. Basically, I don't connect to music the way the majority of people do, and no one, including me, is happy about it. Look, I've tried to contribute in my own way, but no one else listens to the Mario Kart Cheeseland theme in their free time. It's good. No one believes me. Now, on a completely unrelated note, a while ago I wanted to get into a hobby that was fun and active at the same time because I do not move if not incentivized to, and that's not good. I'd like to still be fully functional at the age of 30, so after a bit of soul searching and digging around in the old ideas jar, I decided to try out DDR. I got a dance pad, downloaded some fun video game songs and anime intros to Dance Dance Revolution 2, and I got really into it. It was the most active I've been since high school. I was doing cardio for hours on end. Who am I? After playing my batch of custom songs for a few months, I decided to download some more stuff, and that's when I casually thought to myself, I wonder if there's any good Vocaloid charts. Now, to start a completely new tangent again, Vocaloid is a voice synthesizer program, yada yada yada. Basically, it's robot voices you can control to write songs, and there's different characters based on what voice you use. The most common example, you know her, you love her, is Hatsune Miku. Yep, strap in folks, we're finally talking about Hatsune Miku, my beloved. My history with Hatsune Miku is a bit all over the place. I first got really into her in high school. I don't remember exactly how, but I probably just stumbled onto some of her popular songs while browsing YouTube one day. Either way, I was obsessed, and that was the first instance of me actually listening to music, which, as you know, was groundbreaking. I loved Hatsune Miku so much that in my senior year of English class, the teacher told us to write a PowerPoint presentation about anything we wanted. Most kids talked about like ending racism or recycling or something like that, but I decided my presentation was gonna be about our girl, Hatsune Miku. You know, just as morally important as ending racism and preventing global warming. Of course, I disguised it as a presentation about our hologram concert's gonna be the future of live music, but it was really just an excuse to gush about Miku because I desperately needed that outlet. I was a lonely child. Honestly, I'm not even sure how I mustered up the courage to do that presentation in the first place, because as the shy art girl who never talked to or hung out with anyone, it was a bold choice for me to talk about something considered so strange and nerdy at the time. I started my presentation and immediately was like, oh my god, what the hell am I doing talking about a holographic Japanese pop icon in front of my normie-ass classmates? I regret every moment I didn't stop myself from getting right here. After playing Miku's viral World Is Mine performance for the class, one of the popular girls was like, that was cool, can we watch another? And I thought she was making fun of me, so I just sat back down. As much as I loved Miku back then, my anxiety got the better of me, and I slowly drifted away from her because I didn't want to feel like a social outcast. It's a dog-eat-dog world when you're a teenager, and you know it. We were all just trying to survive out there. I'm sorry, Miku, I was weak. Fast forward to current Jaden.
Speak for yourself. I lived on the outside of like all the fringe groups, and nobody would accept me because I wouldn't bend to what they wanted, and I liked what I liked.
Same.
And it made me very lonely in high school, but at the same time, I was myself.
Other weirdos. Like, I hung out with the other weirdos.
Yeah, I eventually found my clan of weirdos.
Chilled with my Children of Bodom shirts that even my weirdo friends made fun of me for, because they were like, "Which Children of Bodom?" And I'm like, it's a band that none of you are cool enough to listen to, apparently.
Yeah, then me and Chad, originally, like, we were butting heads all the time in like high school, and then eventually we were both just like, "Hey, you like punk music? Yeah, I like punk music too. Dude, that's awesome. You want to play music sometime? Yeah, absolutely." And then there we go.
I met another dude that was like, "Yeah, you like Children of Bodom?" Well, yeah, I like Children of Bodom. Cool, you want to play music sometime? And then we both hung out and realized neither of us was good enough to actually play anything close to Children of Bodom.
Yeah, whereas us, it was like Blink 182, so basic chords and like, damn it, like da 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 da.
It's a little bit easier.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, ugh.
I've grown up a bit, am more sure of myself, learned some life lessons, am not surrounded by self-conscious teenagers 24/7. I'm now sitting here in front of my computer screen with a choice. Should I choose to yet again repress myself from pursuing a niche and uncommon interest because of self-conscious fears? Or am I gonna choose self-healing and growth and allow myself to fully re-explore the world of a Japanese virtual pop star to play DDR2? Crank up that, Miku. I started downloading.
I was gonna say, why is she attributing that to like the devil's side? I'd see that as like the angel side. The angel side is you embracing what you love and embracing what you want to do, whereas the devil side would be like, no, continue to be like the social outcast where you don't express yourself. Exactly.
Conform to society.
Exactly. No, I'm sorry.
Songs I listened to years ago, found some new ones. I was exploring and already getting more and more into the music I chose to leave behind out of fear years ago. I was flourishing, and that's how it began. I didn't know it back then, but this was the first step of a hyperfixation like no other I've experienced. Hatsune Miku was showing me the ways of truly enjoying music. I was playing her whenever I was in the car, consistently looking up new songs and artists to add to my playlist, even listening to her while I work or play video games, which I pretty much never did. My world was changing, and it was all hers. This wasn't just the music either, it was straight up about Hatsune Miku. I've never been a figure collector, but I started buying so many Miku figures I had to get a custom shelf in my office just to display them all. Dude, it's such a double-edged sword to be into Miku, because the fan base is constantly being fed. New Miku this, new Miku that. Gorgeous figures are coming out like every month. What am I supposed to do? Not buy them? Every house needs to have at least one Miku. That's a feng shui rule. Also, a huge oversight on my part. When I got my Miku shelf installed, I wanted it above my computer. It turned out great and displays them really well, but when I'm actually sitting at my desk and want to look up and admire my figures, all I see is accidental upskirt shots, and I feel so bad. I'm sorry, Miku, I'm not trying to disrespect you, I promise. It was a miscalculation on my part. So whenever I'm at my desk, I just don't look up. As most of you probably know, Pokemon invited Jacob and me to Japan to attend the Pokemon World Championships back in August. That was super fun, and the video of that trip should be up by now if I'd planned things correctly.
Yeah.
If not, then oops. But Worlds also just so happened to overlap with Magical Mirai, also known as one of the biggest Hatsune Miku expos and concerts ever. We had to go. Since getting super into Miku, it became one of my biggest dreams to see her live in concert. Who knows if we'd ever get this perfect of an opportunity again? What if she invites me backstage and we became friends? I immediately tried to get tickets, but couldn't figure out how the Japanese ticket system worked, so Emily ended up having to help me out. She was also the one who told me about the concert in the first place, so thank you, Emily, my hero,
to the
my
rescue.
savior. We got tickets, but not actually, because if you don't know, the way Japan does most of their online ticket systems is through a gacha.
What the fuck?
Random lottery. No matter how much money I was willing to hypothetically spend to get these tickets, at the end of the day, we were all just like those little numbered balls in that bingo spinner
that
thing.
sucks.
Months
That's
pass
terrible.
as I eagerly await our fate. Then the email pops up in my inbox. I click it, scanning it way too quickly to understand any of the contents until my eyes catch it. Successfully obtained tickets. We're gonna see Miku! Suddenly life had color again. This is what living feels like. Air tasted more pure. The sun was
Are
smiling.
you telling me that's what I'm
beaming
gonna have to
again.
do if I
smiled
want to
back
see
for the
Deer and
first
Gray when I go
time.
to Japan eventually?
Probably, unless Deer and Gray comes back to the States eventually, which may or may not
It's been a
happen.
long time.
Yeah.
The pandemic
Everything smelled
made
like
it not look
toast.
good.
You have no idea how excited I was. I don't even understand why I love Hatsune Miku as much as I do, but she has become one of the pillars of my being. Let's
Holy
jump to the day
crap.
of the concert. Jacob and I are in Japan and are just about to arrive at the convention center. I remember looking out the window of the taxi, getting so excited to see people wearing their Miku shirts and kimonos, and they had Miku bags. I felt like I was finally
Oh.
around my people. We get there, walk into the convention center, and a blast of Hatsune Miku hits us. Giant Miku statues and posters,
Holy
booths stocked
crap.
with Miku merchandise, almost everyone dressed head to toe in Miku clothes. I saw people with Hatsune Miku suitcases to hold all the Miku things they were buying. I immediately wanted to run around and look at everything all at once. There were multiple times where Jacob lost me because I just started walking off in different directions like a Miku moth. We spent a few hours looking around and buying things. We spent a lot of money, but eventually we started getting ready for the live concert. I was giddy with excitement at this point. She was gonna be right in front of me. We found our seats and dude, we were pretty damn close to the stage, especially for randomly selected seats. I couldn't believe how close we were gonna be to Hatsune Miku. I already knew going into it I was gonna cry frame one. If you didn't know, it's pretty standard to have special Miku glow sticks you can shake to the beat of whichever song is playing. You can even switch them to the coordinated color of whichever Vocaloid was on stage at the time. I've only learned about it from watching videos of concerts on YouTube thus far, and I gotta say, it was so fun to see people before the show warming up their arms and practicing their glow stick moves. They really take Hatsune Miku seriously, and I respect it so much. Some people were even quadruple wielding glow sticks. The record I personally saw was 6, like some sort
Hell
of
yeah.
Miku Wolverine. It was a huge bummer though, because Jacob and I tried to buy some sticks of our own at the expo hall, but they were already sold out, so we didn't have any. And it was kind of embarrassing. Soon enough, the Miku songs the venue was playing started getting louder, and the house lights dimmed. And man, seeing the lights turn down and the teal glow of all the sticks emanating together to light up the
This
room,
is the moment before
Honestly,
a concert starts.
it made me tear up.
Yep.
I don't even
Yes.
think I realized how much I loved Hatsune Miku until that moment. Being completely surrounded by people who love her just as much and more than I do. This is what it's like to be into music, isn't it? To
Yes,
experience
exactly.
these moments being completely engulfed in a community, all connected by a single art. I get it now. It's beautiful. The room glowed
Thank
Miku
goodness.
blue, and everyone was cheering and shaking their glow sticks, anticipating her appearance. All the Vocaloids were introduced one by one with text on the hologram screen. Mako, Luca, Kaito, Kagamina, Rin, and Lan. And then Hatsune Miku. The crowd went ballistic. I could already feel myself holding back tears. A little digital poof explosion goes off, and there she was, right in front of us. She started singing and Jacob and I were cheering and bouncing with the rest of the crowd. By the time she got a couple songs in, Jacob and I were definitely feeling left out for not having the glow sticks to shake, so we pulled out our Miku plushes to use in place of them, and that felt much better. By the end of the concert, Jacob was even dual wielding Mikus. After a few songs, Miku disappeared and the other Vocaloids played some of their songs. I honestly don't know them as well, so I wasn't too familiar with most of the songs they all played, but I was having a great time nonetheless. It was nice to not be fighting tears the whole time anymore as well. Then Miku came back and the concert continued on, and we learned some real nice glow stick moves, replaced with our Miku plushes, of course. There's the classic arm cheer on beat, the on beat off beat, the building cheer on to beat, even throw in the advanced building cheer on to double beat with a height. I'll say it, doing all those glow stick movements was honestly a really crazy arm workout. Like, we were working biceps and shoulders for 2 hours straight. Imagine Beat Saber, but higher up in the posture with almost no breaks. And if you don't commit, then Hatsune Miku thinks you hate her. I wanted to mention that in Vocaloid concerts, obviously they have a recording of the vocals because, you know, but all the other instruments were absolutely real. There was a live band playing all the songs for the entire
cool.
set.
Dude.
In the middle of the concert, there was even a nice little appreciation moment showcasing all the band members by name, accompanied by a little solo they got to play. I'm a big bass fan and would love to learn how to play it one day, and I know bass players get super neglected because everyone wants to watch the cool guitar players, so I gave extra attention to the Miku bass player. They definitely noticed me cheering for them, probably because I could tell everyone was watching the guitar players and I was the only one actually looking at them, and the bass player smiled super wide and raised his bass to me, and I just thought that was a nice moment. Appreciate your bass players, guys. They need it. Anyway, the concert went on. There were awesome lasers and sparklers.
So I always wonder if they're actually looking at me, like when I've had some moments where it seems like people on stage have been looking right at me for reasons. Like my favorite one though was when I saw Baby Metal, and it was at Carolina Rebellion, and so there was a lot of other like metalheads around, and there was a lot of dudes with beers who's like, "What's this?"
The hell,
you know, a lot of people were waiting because Alice Cooper was playing on the stage after them.
Yeah.
And so they were just trying to get a good spot. And like they came out and it was like not as big of a cheer as for like all the other bands. And there was like some people doing like, you know, this and this and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah! And like did this. And I saw one of them, I forgot.
Was it Moa?
Moa, I think, yeah. She like looked towards the side of the stage I was on. They all kind of looked around as they came out, and like she was the only one that I saw do this. Like she like looked and she stopped looking when she got to like right where I was at, and I think she saw the Fox God symbols, and she was like and smiled and like looked, you know, like gave it back basically.
You were like, yes!
I was just like, hell yeah. I was like, I think she saw me give the Fox God symbols because none of these other losers know what they're doing here.
Hey, man, that's how it goes. You're in the know. You were in the know about them.
Mm-hmm.
Changes from all the Vocaloids, great set list. Shout out to the guy in front of us that was there with his girlfriend and definitely more excited to be there than she was. Finally, it came to the encore. We had to convince Miku to play one more song. You know how, at least in America, people are cheering and screaming for an encore? Well, Japan is like so quiet and polite. They were saying it like a suggestion. It was so quiet, kind of just a long session of applause with a whisper of Miku, Miku. Like, if I were Hatsune Miku, I would have questioned if they even wanted the encore in the first place. Also, we were asking for the encore for like 5 minutes straight. I was fully convinced she had left the building, but she came out for her last song.
Sometimes they make you wait for a minute.
She was in her magical Mirai outfit for the year,
Dude.
and it was over. I've only gone to one other concert in my entire life, and it was because a friend in college had an extra ticket and invited me along. I didn't even know the band at the time. It was some random group called Fallout Boy or something. But I could have been to 1,000 concerts and still say this was the best one I've ever been to. I loved the energy, I loved how passionate and excited everyone was to be there, and I loved Hatsune Miku, and still do. I want to go to so many more of her concerts concerts. It was a great event for me, and I want to relive it again and again. You might think it's weird, or you don't get it. It's just a hologram robot girl, right? That's totally fine. If you can't find it in Vocaloid, I hope everyone has the opportunity to connect with or find a community to enjoy like I have with Hatsune Miku, because moments like that concert are so incredible, and I feel so lucky to have been there. I just want everyone to experience something like that in their lifetime.
That's
Getting
awesome.
into Vocaloid can be a bit intimidating, so for anyone that wants to give Miku a try or is just looking for a playlist of some of my favorite Vocaloid songs, I'm putting a link to a Miku playlist I've made and actively listened to in the description and probably the comments too. If I can convert at least a few people into Miku fans, that's a win in my book. I hope you enjoy. I am off to apply for more tickets to another Miku concert. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, I'm a Miku fan. I had a Miku shirt and it got destroyed by a cat that was particularly angry.
Oh,
for
no.
A situation he didn't want to be in. It's because my friend's ex, it was her cat technically, and she was going to come pick him up from his house, but neither of them wanted to see each other. So I was asked to bring the cat outside onto the porch to hand to her, and without a cat carrier or anything. And
Ooh, boy.
he immediately, like as soon as we stepped through the door, realized something was going on he wasn't used to and wasn't having it.
And just
So he freaked out and nearly took my nipple off and destroyed my Miku shirt.
No!
And I had to step back inside, like, real quick and let him go and doctor myself and everything, because he nearly murdered me. Like
He murdered your Miku shirt, dude. It's just
Why'd
like...
you take him outside without a carrier?
Because they were dumb about the situation.
Oh, boy.
She ended up just being like, well, I'm just going to leave him here after all. And I'm like, cool, good to know after he fucked me up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Oh. Well...
But concert-wise, I was going to say, like...
Best
The
concert
beginning
you've
of the
ever
video
been
was
to.
making me sad because I was like, man, like, not experiencing music, like, I just can't imagine that because, like, obviously,
Yeah.
I have a favorite band, and I've seen them live, like, 5 times.
Yeah. Coheed and Cambria, for those of you who don't understand the
Like,
symbolism.
the moment when, like, the lights dim and everything before the band comes out, it's always fucking hype. And it's just, like, that's one of the top 10 things you can do in life, in my opinion, and it's like, anybody who misses out on that, I'm like, I feel bad for you.
Well, for me, I would say, like, anytime the lights go down and it's time, like, for whenever people come together to see something, that's a big moment. Not just for everyone in attendance, but also for the people who are performing. Like, every time. I know it's, like, nowhere near in terms of comparison to, like, Hatsune Miku or concerts like that, but every time I do a wrestling show, and they start dimming the lights in the back, and then Jeff Baker gets on the mic and just starts saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Urban Combat Wrestling."
Yeah.
And the crowd just goes ape shit. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then whenever, our music plays, for the White Claw Outlaws, just the thunderous boos. Just like, boo, you guys suck. People having dry erase boards to write custom, like, everyone says, like, it's just like, typical, like, White Claw Outlaws suck. And then I saw one, it's just like, Chad pitches, Jimmy receives. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Oh, gosh.
That's funny.
I know. Oh, man. And
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have like the glow sticks and stuff at Coheed shows, but the moment that's probably my favorite every time I've seen them is they always play in Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. And there's a moment in that song where all the members of the band yell, "Man your own jackhammer," which is like a jackhammer gun on the battleship they're talking about. And so, like, the entire crowd, like, everybody at the same time, "Man, your own jackhammer!" And that part's always fucking fun.
yeah,
Just hearing everybody yell that at the same time, it's, like, my favorite thing.
yeah. Buggy Wright.
Man your battle stations.
Buggy Wright, whenever he comes out to whoop that trick. the rap song "Whoop That Trick," and every time he comes out and the song like pumps in and the chorus starts to "Whoop that trick, whoop that," like the whole crowd just starts bouncing with him, and just like he remember one show he rode out on a lift, on like a cargo lifter, and he like rode it out like a freaking a scooter, and just came out just going "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." I was just like, okay, crowd loves Buggy. That's all you need to say. Whenever it's him and Bo, whenever him and Bo Bombshell come out, it's always a pop. Everyone always just like pops off.
The other thing I really wish I could have seen live, that I didn't find out about until well after it happened, was another Japanese artist, which was Gacked. Like, damn, like his Diabolos tour video. He had like this whole like video playing on the screen where they're in like this battle, in like a medieval type battle, you know. And they run in on horses with people firing arrows at them and stuff. And as like the arrows are about to hit, it goes in on the screen, and then the screen just like goes white, and everything on stage explodes, and they all come out on actual horses and ride around the arena, around the crowd on the horses. And I was just like, that would be the most fucking epic thing to be there for. And like as they get back to the middle, like the dancers that are dressed up like the enemy soldiers in their masks and stuff come up on these elevators on the stage, and then he comes up in the middle and just like starts doing like his dance and shit. And I'm just like, that's pretty fucking cool, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it sounds killer. Yeah. I know Sabaton has like one of the craziest stage shows, because you know they have flamethrowers, they get people who get dressed up in like masks or like gas masks, and like they do whole set pieces of war stories and everything. I would love to see that. I'd love to see
awesome live.
Yeah. Kate's seen more concerts than me. I mean, one that I know that you've talked about, Kate, is Coldplay's "Sky Full of Stars."
I'd love to go see that.
Where they have like the synchronized like light up wristbands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like during that song,
I haven't seen that live, but I'd love to see that live.
Yeah, I saw a bit of it, and right as like the beginning of the song started, he's like, "All right, everyone ready? Here we go!" And as soon as like the opening piano chord hits, boom! Everyone's like bracelet comes on. It's like, oh, dude, come on.
I also like seeing a Monomarth live, and everybody like sits down in the pit like with their legs like,
and they start rowing
each other, and you do like the longboat row together.
That's an experience too.
So concerts. What's some great concert experiences you all have had out there? Love to hear it in the comments section. And Jaden, I hope you do get to see Hatsune Miku. I hope that you get to enjoy more Hatsune Miku in the future. And I guess we'll see if she'll do another video talking about Hatsune Miku. Maybe. I mean, she's obsessed enough about Hatsune Miku, and I've said Hatsune Miku enough in this episode to basically make it to where we're gonna get Hatsune Miku recommendations from here to wazoo. Anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in. Anybody else got anything else they want to add or anything they want to say?